start by providing an opening statement, a brief one. I want to thank the sponsoring members of Congress as well as our witnesses for joining us today to speak about the personal and national significance of these proposals. This month is Great Outdoors Month, a wonderful time for us to celebrate our nation's parks, wildlife refuges, forests, monuments, national conservation lands, and other national treasures. Every day, Americans across our great country draw inspiration and pride from the beauty of our public lands. Our national parks have always been central to America's heritage and essential to our identity as a nation, as we know well back in Colorado. This committee has the responsibility to ensure that our federal counterparts have the tools that they need to maintain these iconic outdoor spaces and to tell the stories that shape our country. Today, we will consider 8 proposals that seek to enhance and strengthen our national parks and provide the resources that the National Park Service needs the National Park Service needs to address the challenges that they face today. We will consider a bill from the ranking member of the full committee, Chairman Westerman, that would reauthorize federal funding for the National Park Foundation through fiscal year 2030 and increase the authorization level from $5 million to $15 million. The National Park Foundation is an indispensable partner that has ensured the National Park Service can achieve its mission to protect our public lands and waters for present and future generations. I'm delighted that a fellow Coloradan, the president of the foundation, is here today to testify. And I'm also proud to be an original co-sponsor on Mr. Westerman's bill to protect and improve our national parks. We'll also consider legislation, including from several members of this subcommittee, that seeks to address challenges faced by the National Park Service. H.R. 1548, the National Plant Species Pilot Program Act, introduced by Representative Cartwright from Pennsylvania, would create a pilot program to utilize native plant materials in projects within the NPS regions to protect native plant biodiversity and direct the Park Service to review existing data and study the cost-effectiveness of using native plants. And we're delighted that Representative Cartwright is here to testify today. H.R. 1548 would enhance how the Park Service utilizes native plant materials for revegetation. Native plants require fewer pesticides and fertilizers, less water and maintenance, and they prevent the spread of invasive non-native species. H.R. 6442, the PACS Act, introduced by my colleague, Ranking Member Fulcher of this subcommittee, would expand the use of co-management agreements to include tribal governments and quasi-governmental entities to alleviate some administrative hurdles currently facing the National Park Service. H.R. 7615, introduced by committee member Representative Moore, seeks to remedy Park Service staffing shortages due to increased visitation to our national parks. The Lodge Act would provide the NPS with new authority to enter into new innovative housing partnerships with the private sector to provide a much-needed supply of housing in these high-demand regions and help NPS retain and hire staff. We'll also consider 2 bills that will honor those who played a role in shaping our national history. Introduced by Representative Liu, H.R. 4658 would designate the Anthony Tony Bielenson Trailhead in the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area. As you all, I'm sure, are aware, Congressman Bielenson dedicated a significant amount of his time in Congress to environmental issues, including contributing to the formation of the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area, and certainly can think of no better way to honor his memory than to designate a trailhead with his namesake in the National Recreation Area that he fought so hard to establish. It also seems fitting that during National Caribbean American Heritage Month, we will hear a bill regarding a national park in the Virgin Islands. H.R. 7496 would direct the Secretary of the Interior to install a plaque at the peak of Ram Head in the Virgin Islands National Park to commemorate the slave rebellion that began on St. John in 1733. I want to thank Representative Plaskett for her leadership and for her efforts to ensure that our national parks tell important stories such as this one. Thank you again to the sponsoring members and the witnesses for being here today. I certainly look forward to hearing your testimonies, and again, grateful that we were able to put this hearing together in our continued effort to try to make sure that we are considering bills in a bipartisan way. Proud that the bills we're considering today include bills from the ranking member of the full committee, the ranking member of the subcommittee, rank and file members of this committee, and members from throughout the House. With that, I will yield back the balance of my time and recognize the ranking member for his opening remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you point out, today's bills deal with our nation's parks. Interestingly, this last weekend I had some relevant conversations with an Idaho family I've